Have you ever heard a story that made you realize you're not alone? That's the power of stories, to realize there are others who may have a similar struggle or joy. It's like the dominoes in our logo. One story leads to another, which leads to another. Welcome works the same way. When one feels welcomed, they often want to give others what they have received. I invite Sydney Taylor, president of South Carolina Lutheran Church Youth, to the stage to share about the radical hospitality and welcome of South Carolina LCY. Sydney?
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a special privilege to share my story with a body of people ready to receive it, and I am so grateful for this opportunity. Everybody has a story to tell, and the Holy Spirit gives us grace to do so. I have been given grace in my long 18 years on this earth, and I can almost promise each and every single one of you has had there's grace for that moment. In order to understand my story, I must take you all back to where it all started. Universal Studios, Florida. My family, like many in America, went to the second happiest place on earth and had a blast. After we had our fun in the sun, we went home. As I entered 6th grade, my life was about to change. I was infected with viral spinal meningitis and went into the hospital. It was scary because after that, I went into middle school. I suffered and still suffer from debilitating migraines and dizzy spells. I missed a lot and had to play catch up. Believe it or not, after all of that, I killed it. Making friends, getting good grades, the whole shebang. And then I experienced my first roadblock. In the second half of the first semester of my 6th grade year, I passed out in front of all of my classmates from a migraine. I broke a bone in my back and managed to hit a railing on the way down. Did I mention I stopped breathing? Waking up to your mom telling you that your cute history teacher did CPR on you? I wouldn't recommend it. From that experience, I spent the rest of my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade years in and out of the hospital angry and depressed. But like clockwork, in my 7th grade year, God gave me one of his infamous chances and worked through my youth leader to recommend a program to get me out of my slump. In my pain and suffering, I did not want to go. It took my parents' guidance to convince me. And then I went. Turns out, I had a blast there too. And this program ended up saving my faith, strengthening my relationship with God, and introducing me to new people who continue to inspire me each and every single day. This program allowed kids a new avenue to experience Christ, not just sitting and singing in church, but serving and living in relationship with Christ. They would get out of their communities to build their own community. Oh, I should probably mention what this program is, huh? This program is called LCY, otherwise known as Lutheran Church Youth. When I first arrived at convention and looked all around me, why wonderful adult mentors did not mention that I would be surrounded by peers that didn't look like me. I was surrounded by white people. That's okay, you guys can laugh, it's funny. I was intimidated and scared. I called my mom that night and told her I wanted to go home. And my dad vetoed that idea almost immediately. And I stayed. Y'all know how he can get? One of the leaders informed me that I could run for 7th and 8th grade representative. And since I am my father's child, I wrote my speech that day, said it, and suddenly my ears were ringing with applause. I won the position, and I didn't even know anybody in the room, and they didn't even know me. But God worked through them to give me that infinite community I was missing. Suddenly, the crowd around me didn't seem so scary or intimidating. I knew that I would fit in just fine at LCY. I ended up making friends that I still keep in touch with to this day. I served my position well, and then nominations for 9th and 10th grade representative went live, and I came prepared. I wrote my speech, and when I got there, I was told that the protocols had changed. I could no longer run, and my dreams were crushed. But don't worry, for consolation, they offered me the African American position. Yeah. Any Black or brown person sitting in this room can relate to the sinking feeling of only being seen for your race. I worked hard to get to where I was, and the position felt like a handout. I was grateful and appreciative of the opportunity, but it didn't feel like I had earned it. That slowed the slow descent of me falling out of love with LCY. Now, hold up. Two things do not add up. I'm the president, yet I fell out of love with LCY. Let me catch you guys up. After speaking with some of my adult mentors around me, I changed my outlook on my position, and I used it to bring awareness and more diversity to LCY programs. And in my efforts, I realized I couldn't fix the bigger problem by myself, which was expanding Black and brown audiences to LCY. I thought I was a failure, and I couldn't face the people who gave me a position, pity or not. So I backed off, focused on school, yay, and regrouped just in time for my convention, my 11th grade year. It was a Hail Mary, a shot in the dark. I submitted an application to be president and then won the position to be president. I wanted this position because I had taken time to grow and knew I could bring back my original feeling for LCY and inspire others to do the same in the wake of COVID, which is really difficult. I wanted to give it the same infinite chance that my youth leader, God, had given me all those years ago. The epilogue is here, so let me wrap things up. I'm starting to get like my dad. Since then, I have attended every event and meeting I could. I applied and got into the University of South Carolina's cardiovascular technology program. Thank you. And I even spoke at my graduation, if you can't tell. In that process, I found my grace. I found my peace, and I understood that God is in the business of handing out infinite grace, infinite chances, and most importantly, infinite community. If you want to know how LCY can affect your youth or your child, look at me and countless other youth in this room. We are walking, talking, breathing testimonials of God's infinite abilities. This is usually where the story ends. But with LCY, your story will never end. This is only the beginning. Thank you.